Now, let us now zero in with the term perception. So, how important is the student's perception to their instructors or teachers? Let us define perception first. It is the ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through your senses. Okay, so that's very physical. The next is a belief or an opinion often held by many people based on how things seem. So sometimes there are students who are really interested in the subject, not only because they are really curious about that subject, but of course, the teacher plays an important role for them to love that subject, right? So it's an awareness of the elements of environment through physical sensation. And actually, perception can also be is synonymous to appreciation. So for your students to appreciate or perceive the class or your course on a lighter note, no, or on a good no, in a good light, no, so you have to do something. So why do we have to value the perception of our students? Because in this figure, I want you to remember this, because in when we are studying education, of course these are the things that we usually encounter: attitude, engagement. How are they related to each other? There are so many paradigms, but I think this is quite simple, that the perception of your students or the way they appreciate the course actually affects their attitude, of course. So whenever there is a positive perception, there is also a positive or attitude or an attitude that favors your course, right? So attitude is the belief that one has towards the people or the surroundings or the course that you are teaching. And if they have positive attitude towards that subject, then they would be more engaged, right? And this is what we want, because whenever there is an engagement, there is a psychological investment on the subject. So ibig sabihin, when you look at the outputs of your students, you can really see that they're pouring out their effort simply because they are highly engaged because they like the subject. Or maybe on a further consideration, they also like the teacher. Now, how important is this? No, the interaction between the three, because whenever there is a positive or a high engagement, high level of engagement among students, of course, the different outcomes that we would like in an instruction to be fulfilled are fulfilled and satisfied. So, for example, students are satisfied, they feel motivated, their performance are good, and of course, they lose some sense of isolation because they are highly engaged. And furthermore, of course, these things are very important because they allow us to attain the curricular intended learning outcomes. Because for most of us, if you think that curriculum is just a set of subjects that you take, it's not. It's the totality of the experience that you get whenever you enter the educational institution that you are into. So that's why we have to value perception. So most of the teachers would say, or some of the teachers long time ago would say that, well, if they want to learn, they have to be motivated. The intrinsic motivation should be there. But there are times that students will not appreciate your subject until you do some sort of an effort to lure them to like the subject, right? So you have to do some efforts as well. So let us now look at other things. Now, what are the other things that matters most to our students? Non-verbal communication. This is this is very important because, as you can see, your face is zoomed in this in the platform, in the screen. The students can easily see your eyebrows, whether, of course, you look confused because of what they're saying, or otherwise you're happy or you're angry. They can easily see that. Okay, so let me just share you another review article on this. So an impact of the teacher's nonverbal communication on success in teaching. Okay, so what does it say here? In the results, they mentioned that they found out that the more teachers use verbal and nonverbal communication, the more efficacious their education and the students' academic progress were. Okay, but I think this is not the main meat of their or the point of their paper. It is on the next slide. Whenever they mentioned here that if you were given or you were presented two stimuli, one is verbal and the other is nonverbal, you tend to believe the nonverbal more rather than the verbal. So that's it. So it says here, nonverbal communication is highly reliable in the communication process. So if the recipient of the message is between two contradictory verbal and nonverbal messages, there are some teachers who are doing this. Like, I think what you're doing is okay, but when you look at the face, it's not okay. But the teacher is telling you, yeah, it's okay. So you are now confused between the two stimuli. So the logic dictates that we push towards nonverbal or believing the nonverbal message rather than or over the verbal message. So that's it. Okay, so very important that when you face your students as well, and maybe you have to wear your best smiles when you see them, when you meet your class, and because nonverbal communication matters most, especially in online classes. Okay, so we have to consider that most of our students may not like the situation that they are in right now, and maybe meeting you, seeing you in their screen would be the best thing that might happen on their today, no? And then all of a sudden you're angry, you're grumpy. So what do we expect? Okay, so let's now proceed. It is also okay that you give comments to your students, but you have to thread your words well. This is another thing that we have to practice. It is not that you don't have to criticize what they're doing if what they're doing is wrong. It is just that you can choose your words uh, carefully so that you can somehow convey the message without hurting them. So, for example, some of you have skipped the past few quizzes. You won't pass this class if you continue to do so. So this is one message. No, this is one message. But a better way to phrase it is like this: thank you for your work in this class. I know it's a lot. It's a lot to manage because we know that there are so many things on this student's plate right now. Just a reminder: make sure that you are taking all the quizzes to help you be successful here. Please contact me. So you're open to the possibility that if they think that they missed something, then they can somehow contact you for further details. So then you can somehow put across a certain positive information and message to your students. Okay, so they will be more open to you.